It's big art, big creativity, big imagination. Hi, I'm Jane Holland, astrologer and writer, and welcome to your creative forecast for the new moon in Aries at 22 degrees on April the 12th. Now, at this new moon, there are some marvellously imaginative and creative aspects taking place. Aries is a fire sign and what's known as a cardinal sign too. So this gives it a strong flavour of leadership. Now, I talked last month about how the tarot card that's most closely associated with Aries is the fourth card in the major arcana. That's the Emperor. And this depicts a noble leader on his throne, a warrior, but also a wise king, a ruler, someone who knows when to act and when not to act. Now, despite this wisdom around the art of leadership and right action, Aries is also known for being a tad impulsive. It's that wonderful fire energy that leaps from one state to another, from one idea or action to another, in its own indomitable idiom. And Aries is also the first sign in the zodiac. So it's about fresh new states of being. It's about emergent ideas and attitudes, clean slates, new brooms. It's about new beginnings. And it does this in a way that's always reminiscent of that wonderful, enthusiastic, but somehow cryptic poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins called God's Grandeur. And for all this, nature is never spent. There lives the dearest freshness deep down things. And that's what it is, really. Aries has got that element of dearest freshness deep down things about it. It's a fresh, green, creative energy. Because spring is a time of new creations, of new creatures being conceived or born, nests built, eggs laid, all those busy preparations too for the joy to come. And because of this, there's also maybe a little hint of immaturity about it too. It's a new soul, not an old soul, as we get with Pisces, that wisdom from having worked their way around the zodiac wheel of 12. Now, the new moon is also a time when sun and moon meet and share the same degree momentarily. And this sets a kind of precedent or feel for the next 2 weeks. So this new moon, being very creative, gives us all this fantastic boost of creativity as spring releases us from the restrictions and darkness of the winter. And this new moon makes so many contacts here. It's a very busy new moon. So it's hitting Mercury, it's hitting Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Pluto. And the Mercury-Venus contacts are particularly strong. They're highlighting communications, the way we talk to each other, the way we think too and come up with ideas. And with Venus in the mix, it's about art and love and beauty and harmony and finances too. Don't forget that, especially with those Jupiter-Pluto contacts at the same time. Both of those slower moving planets being associated in one way or another with money, as is lovely Venus herself. Now, the Pluto contact is an intense square aspect, and this could be about power and control, especially power over the people by the government. But the Mars-Jupiter contacts that come before it are more harmonious, and they suggest a time of confident action and assertive generosity. Now, I want to call these feel-good factors because they feel good. They feel kind. They feel spiritual too, especially with mystical Jupiter, if you're into that kind of thing, because Jupiter is the ancient ruler of deep and visionary Pisces. It's very creative, and Jupiter can lift you up onto a higher plane, can help you see things differently at this new moon. Now, Jupiter is a big player around this time, because not only are these fleeting Moon-Jupiter contacts happening, but Jupiter is hitting off both Venus and Mars in a rather sexy and harmonious way shortly after this new moon. And Mars, of course, rules the new moon because Mars is the ruler of Aries, which is where the new moon event is taking place. Now, if Jupiter is big and creative and Mars is confidence and action, then Jupiter-Mars could represent big strides towards a creative goal. And this rather more mellow and feminine contact to Venus, a 60-degree sextile, is more spiritual and touchy-feely. It's big art, big creativity, big imagination. It could also highlight a desire in you to give to charity, since Jupiter is generous and charitable and Venus is money. This may not even be financial giving. It could actually be a time when you want to volunteer to give up your time for a community project or an art project of some kind. You want to give back or give up something, perhaps, because that spiritual element can indicate a moment of sacrifice too. And sacrifice literally means to make holy. But perhaps the most prominent and exciting creative aspect at this new moon is a square between Pluto, planet of regeneration, transformation and big power, and Venus, this ruler of art and harmony, between a Capricorn and Aries. Now, this aspect is very close indeed at the new moon. There's barely a few minutes in it, in fact. So it's lending quite a strong flavour to the new moon, rather like leaving firelighters next to your cheese. You're not going to be able to shake off that sulphurous aroma of Pluto in the mix. Now, Pluto does bring endings, yes. And some astrologers might point to Pluto as a bad omen. But I think it all depends on how you handle change in your everyday life. If you always resist change, if you try to ignore the hammering at the door that is Pluto, then you don't usually get away with that. You usually get sort of dragged out of the cupboard where you're hiding and made to face whatever it is you fear most. Now, here, it's Venus you may be fearing. Art, love perhaps, the need to socialise, to be with others and to be loved yourself, to be open to the emotion of love, to be open to giving, because Venus rules money, remember, and money is a barter system. You're exchanging one thing for another according to a pre-arranged set of values. So if Venus is about values too, about what we value most, what we hold most dear, and at this time Pluto is there demanding that we take a stern look at what we value most. So your creativity may be involved as much as your love life or your bank account. Pluto is the powers that be. Pluto is the powers that be, and Venus is the feminine. And so this could be a crackdown on women by the government, especially with this rather tense 90-degree square aspect, which is essentially a hard clash between two entities, two energies. Venus in Aries is likely to fight back. She's bold, she's martial and confident. She won't take this lying down. And it could be, on a personal level, that you are trying to make changes in your creative process, in your Venus area, if you like, to loosen things up a bit as a creative artist, to take some risks. Now, Pluto is all about what happens when we take risks, and also when we go deep, because Pluto is the god of the underworld, remember? And look what happened when he dragged Persephone off down there to make her his underground wife. So this could be a strange and unsettling new moon for some, while for others it could bring brilliant and radical changes to their creative process. Now, don't forget, the new moon is when we start something new. We set a new creative goal or intention. We say what we want or what we intend to do. We announce it loudly to the universe. And if you do that this month, around the 12th of April, Pluto, god of deep and lasting change, god of transformation and regeneration, may well be listening. So have a wonderful and an intensely creative new moon this month. Thank you for listening. Please like this and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to speaking to you next time.